Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is just going to be my 5-star rated reads of 2021. Some of the books I don't actually have in physical form with me because I've actually lent them to my mum so that she can enjoy them just as much as I did. So I'm just going to run down the list, starting with Jojo Moyes' Me Before You. I just really loved this book. I just loved the way the characters were with each other. I just obviously loved the relationship that developed between the two main characters. The end was absolutely heartbreaking. It just all the feels all the way through the book. It was just gorgeous, and I don't know whether it was because I'd already seen the film that I already felt a connection with the characters and the story anyway. But I did just really love it. The second book, however, I didn't enjoy. I felt like there was absolutely no need to continue it, and it's really put me off reading the third book in the trilogy. But the first book to me was just absolute gorgeous perfectionness. It was just, loved it. The next 3 5-star reads are the Morrigan Crow series. So it's The Trials of Morrigan Crow, The Calling of Morrigan Crow and The Hunt for Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. Just utterly amazing. It is a middle grade read. They're just fantastic. If you like Harry Potter, you will love this series. It is just absolutely brilliant. Love the characters, the humour in it. They're just fantastic, all of them. Like, the 3 of them are just brilliant. The 4th one is out in October next year. I've got it on pre-order already. I cannot wait to read the next book because I just thoroughly enjoyed the first 3 in the series, and I've got to say, Jupiter North has my heart. I love that character so much. It's just so entertaining. That the series has been brilliant so far, so highly recommend those 3 books. Next book is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. Just absolutely loved the concept of this story. So basically a boy and a girl become pen pals when they're children, and the pen pals for many years up until the teenage years, and they unknowingly meet each other, and they're not too fond of each other when they do meet. So it's just fantastic seeing obviously the relationship between the two develop in real life as opposed to how they were previously, and just the ups and downs of that relationship. And it's just fantastic. It's like you're in on a little secret that the characters don't know, but it's just brilliant. I would highly recommend this book. I really would. It was just brilliant. Just loved it. Next is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I can totally understand why this book is so popular, because it's just beautiful. It is so beautiful, so well written. It's so interesting. Like, the life of Evelyn Hugo was just so glamorous and so fantastic, but so sad at the same time. Like, 30 minutes after finishing this book, I went to make a cup of tea and I was crying in the kitchen because I was thinking about this book and Evelyn Hugo and her life, and the ending and the twist at the end is just absolutely brilliant. So, oh God, this book, honestly, it's just absolutely fantastic. It's just amazing. This year I got really into graphic novels and manga after I read my first graphic novel in July. So this is my first 5-star rated graphic novel. It is The Sad Ghost Club by Liz Meddings. So this is not a sad story, though it begins with a struggle and anxious swirling thoughts, but sometimes even the worst of days can surprise you. Join the Sad Ghost Club and find your kindred spirits. You are not alone. It's just absolutely beautiful, and like, it's all about anxiety and depression, and if you suffer with those, you will totally recognise all like the overthinking and the intrusive thoughts and stuff like that, you can really relate to it, which is what I found. It's just so beautiful. Like, I love the illustrations, the little ghosts. It's glorious. So the second one I think is out in January, I think. Either way, whenever it comes out, I have pre-ordered that, and I can't wait to read that as well, because I just thoroughly enjoyed this. It was just so relatable. It was just a beautiful little story. It was just gorgeous. I loved it. I'm just gushing about it. It was just adorable. I loved it. Next 5-star read is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. Really enjoyed this book. I loved the short chapters. It was just so succinct and straight to the point. There was no dragging anything out or whatever. Sometimes I can lose interest quite easy, but with this I just kept reading and reading. Each chapter, although it was short, had so much going on in it that I just needed to know what happened then in the next chapter. It was just fantastic. Loved the idea of the female serial killer and the way it looked at the way society sees attractive people, or what it deems attractive people and less attractive people, and how society treats attractive people and less attractive people differently. Found that really interesting. Was a bit shocked by the ending. I don't want to give any spoilers away, which is why I'm being so vague, but yeah, I was shocked at the ending. Although I can understand why it happened, I was still a bit like, oh. All the way through I was kind of go, which way could this go? But I was still surprised by the choices that were made and what happened at the end. But I just really enjoyed this book, which is why it got a 5-star. Next is an Audible book, The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This was unreal. So it's written in verse, and it was so good to listen to it on Audible rather than physically reading it. I don't think it would have quite had the same impact if I'd read the physical book, but listening to it on Audible was just utter perfection. So it's basically a young girl in Harlem discovers slam poetry as a way to understand her mother's religion and her own relationship to the world. And honestly, it was just amazing. It was so amazing and powerful. Just honestly, if you can get to listen to it, just please do, because it was just unreal. It was unreal, and I can't say much more about it other than it was unreal. It was fantastic. Next book is I'm Not Drunk Honest by Hal Lever. So I've actually got a bit of a story about this book. So I was on the bus on the way home from work, and I was reading a book, and the guy that was on like the seats just over the way inquired about the book that I was reading and whatnot, and he told me that he had written and published a book of his own, and it was to do with an accident that he'd had that had impaired his speech. And I bought it there and then, and so he signed a bit of the Metro for me, the Metro newspaper that you got on the buses, so that I could stick it in the book. But that's there. When the book came, it had already been previously signed. So this was signed on the Albert Dock in Liverpool on the 31st of March 1996. So it's double signed. So I'm really happy about it. So I think it's Mel Reeds, I think, said that, you know, how can you rate a biography of somebody's life, because it's their life, it's their experiences. But I had to give this a 5-star because of just what Hal went through and how he overcame it, and the humour that he used behind it, and it was just an incredible story to read. So he basically had an accident that shattered his body, distorted his sight, blanked his memory, and all but obliterated his capacity for speech. And it's just his experiences of trying to get his life back and trying to find work, and people constantly thinking that he is intoxicated because of his speech. So it was just absolutely brilliant. So the last sentence in the book is actually, "Life is wonderful, do not waste it." It's absolutely brilliant. Obviously this was published quite some time ago. I did try to see whether or not there was an update, but I don't think there has been. So if I do ever meet Hal again on the 79 bus, then I'm gonna ask him if he's done an update or if he plans on doing an update of his life since this was written and published. But yeah, it's an amazing story. It's absolutely amazing. Next is Jade Fire Gold by June C.L. Tan. This is a Fairy Loot edition. It's absolutely stunning, and the story is actually stunning as well. So it's a fantasy story based in historical China, so it's like full of culture, full of traditions, but then it's got the element of magic thrown in as well, and it's just perfection. It's a romance on top of that. It's just everything you could want in a book. Fantasy, culture, tradition, magic, romance. There's your 5 stars there. It's just absolutely brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that based on the ending there's going to be another one. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, because I would love to read on from this because it's just so good. It's so good. The last 2 books are both graphic novels, so starting with Monstrous Volume 1 Awakening by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. I hope I'm pronouncing those names correctly. This is absolutely stunning. It is so, so beautiful. This is probably my most favourite illustrations in any of the graphic novels that I've picked up so far. It is just beautiful. I love the world that this is involved in. I love the human and non-human war that's going on. It's just beautiful. So it's set in an alternate world of Art Deco beauty and steampunk horror. It tells the epic story of Maika, half-wolf, a teenage survivor of a cataclysmic war between humans and their hated enemies, the Arcanics. It's just unreal. So I do believe that they brought out clumps of volumes together in books. So instead of buying the next volume, I'm just going to buy book 1, which has got, I think it's 1 to 13 or 15, could be wrong, but it's got quite a few of them together. So that's what I'm going to purchase next, just so I can really read more of the volumes all at once, because honestly this was brilliant. Love the story, love the illustrations. It's just gorgeous. Love it. And the last book is The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. This is just the cutest, most adorable, most loveliest thing I've ever encountered in my life. It is so, so beautiful. The illustrations are just so, so cute. And the tea dragons themselves, I just want one. I want one so badly. They're just gorgeous. So this is a charming fairy tale about Greta, an adventurous blacksmith apprentice, and the people she meets as she becomes entwined in the enchanting world of tea dragons. It's just so wholesome and lovely, and yeah, I just loved it. So the second one is actually out this month, so I've pre-ordered that. Well, the second one in paperback is out this month, so I've pre-ordered that already because I can't wait to continue with the Tea Dragon Society, because it's just wonderful. Love it. So they were all my 5-star reads of this year. I don't think there's anything in there other than the Hal Lever book that people haven't already heard of, but I did just want to come on here and gush about the books that I've loved this year. I'm really excited to see what I'm going to be loving in 2022. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, then please subscribe. Bye!